Hi, welcome to Thez Nutz Garage. Today we'll be working on a 2002 F-350 7.3 liter diesel.
Alright, like my son Taylor said in the intro, what we're going to be doing today is working on this, what'd you say, this is a 99 F-350?
2002.
2002. It's just a diesel truck from Ford. So basically a few years ago, I made a video about the rear doors on an F-150 and how, they just check out and don't work. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be replacing the cables inside of these rear doors so that way you can open them.
Finally, this one hasn't been opened since I bought the truck in 2018.
Yeah, so they've been broke for a long time. So we have the complete cables, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the cables that we have, how to fix it, we'll say the right way, and then how you can kind of fix it the kind of right way, and then actually the wrong way to fix it. So as you can tell, we'll open this door up. Well, maybe you can't because camera's behind the door. He's gonna grab the camera and bring it over here.
Mind the mess.
Hey, check it out. I got a camera guy now. So you can see it doesn't open. And usually you have a cable that runs up through here that goes to the top, and then there's another cable that goes down here. And one of them is bad, or probably both of them is bad when you really look at it. And what we're gonna do is get these doors open because they're shut. So what we're gonna do is the next part of the clip, we'll go over the parts we're going to use, and then I'll show you how to open these doors up from the inside of the truck. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to talk about the door latch cable assemblies we're going to be using on this truck. Now, there's a few ways to do this, and I'm going to say the right way, which is to replace the complete assembly with a Ford product. If you go on eBay, you can look these, door latch assembly kits, and Fairway Ford has some, and for each side of the truck it's $149 per side. So what I did was I was like, well, it's his truck and I'm paying for the parts, so I'm not going to spend $300 on him. I'm just going to spend $84 and get two. So I have the left.
See how much I'm worth.
Yeah, 84 bucks. So the left and right side we got for $84, and this is the complete assembly. Now, if you haven't seen me replace the cables on the church van, I'll put a card up here maybe, and maybe I won't. But this is the center part of the door, and then this runs up to the top part of the door, and then this cable runs to the bottom. Now, what usually goes wrong on these trucks, and we'll investigate when we pull these other ones out, are these right here. These little plastic ends. And on some cars or trucks, both ends go bad, and guess what? You may not even be able to open your door at all, even with what we're fixing to do. You have to really get in there and work at it to get them open. So this is the other end of that. So these usually go right there, go bad. Now you can, and I'll put right over his face, these little metal ends that you can replace these. Now that's kind of the okay way to do it. I would suggest that you remove this whole harness to make it easier on you instead of trying to work inside the truck and add them little metal ends. They're kind of ornery to deal with. So if you just take this whole kit out and you have the little replacement kit, you can make sure all this fits together nicely with those. And that's a good way to do it too. And I think that kit was what, was it $5 on?
Oh, it was around $14 on.
So 14 bucks you can, from Advance AutoZone, I think it was a Dorman part. Yeah. You can get them little metal ends, and you could probably fix it for 15 bucks. But I'm just trying to show you you can get these if you want them. You can get the original Ford Motorcraft parts, or you can get the cheap China parts, and then you can get the little metal Dorman parts to replace it. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I've seen, and I tried it just when I first fixed my 99 F-150. Somebody said, you can fix them with a zip tie. I don't think so. Just if you're that cheap, just spend 15 bucks. Take a day to fix your doors with the little Dorman parts. But a zip tie ain't gonna fix it for long. And then You know, if somebody's sitting in the back of that truck and you have an accident and somebody's trying to get out and you fix it with a zip tie and then they don't make it, they perish, well, you'll remember that zip tie and how you not. All right, so here we are. We should have a Phillips screwdriver. That's all we're gonna need right now. Here and here. We're gonna undo these, and then we'll be able to pop this inner cover off.
After 20 years, a truck is considered a classic.
Yeah, that's what they say.
This truck's a classic.
Yeah. Well, it's a good year.
It's got a good motor in it. Of course, somebody probably out there going, "No, they ain't. They're slow turds." Well, it's my slow turd. Leave it alone.
Oh. Yeah, so, it's got the power stroke in it, 7.3, don't it?
Yeah.
All right, so once you undo that, you'll have this right here. Just kind of start at the top. You know, it'll be easy.
Easy now. She's a classic.
Yeah, she's a classic. Parts are readily not available.
I go on riff around.
We'll just pop this off. Our handyman's gonna hold that out there.
I'll put it right here.
So it looks like we're gonna have two. That's probably an 8mm, but we'll double check. And then we'll have these little clips we have to pop out. So let me jump out here and grab an 8mm socket, and I'll be back. Been so cheap, you could have saved your friend's life, you know. So, all right, so we're going to get a drill and a Phillips head screwdriver. We're going to go out there and start removing these windows, and I'm going to show you how to pop these inside panels off so we can get that door open. All right, so we're back. This is a 7mm, and I have a ratchet and a 7mm socket. Get them out of there. They'll come out. We got a little pry bar. These are little, I guess, plugs on the end. I pushed on the center part and the little center part fell in the door. So you could, they're real fragile. So if you, I usually keep some extra little like Christmas tree, I'll say plugs for that. So we'll throw some in there. That one right there just come right out. So on this upper part of the window, we pulled that trim piece off. But on your lower part, you don't do that. Making sure we don't have any screws down inside this handle. But on the lower part, you don't pull it out, you lift it up. So all you have to do is pick straight up and that panel will come right out.
Hey, that's cool.
So don't go pulling on it, because when you do, what you'll do is break the little tabs that hook into the door, and then the thing's gonna be flopping around all the time. So now we got a vapor barrier. We also have a speaker. We're gonna need to remove this speaker down here. And that's smaller than the 7. That's probably a 1/4-inch screw. So we'll get these 4 screws out of the speaker. And like I said, there's probably a 1/4-inch socket. So we'll get them out and get the speaker out. And then we'll remove the vapor barrier. And then we'll come back and I'll show you how to get this.
Hold on a second.
Try to tell the boy something, he don't listen.
Hey,
Listen, boy.
I know what
we'll be back.
Things like.
Alrighty, so we're back. So we got our vapor barrier removed. We also got the speaker removed. That was a 1/4-inch socket. Now here's our mechanism that we have. Now Ford has riveted this in. So we have a couple of options. We can actually take our cables off of the one that we have inside and just hook them up out here like I did in the 99. And that way we don't have to drill these out and then get bolts and put back in there. And that's probably what we're going to do today, is just replace the cables that are on that harness in there, or that assembly in there, so that way we don't have to remove these factory rivets. So I'm going to try to bring you down here so that way you can see this, because here's our cable. You see this yellow little, it's like a clip. That's the cable that's running to the bottom of the door, and it's broke bad. I mean, it's really broken. I'll show you in a second. And then you'll see this red, see this green one here, this green one. These are for your handle right here, and probably for your lock. I guess this door may have some sort of lock to it. I'm not really for sure, but right below this green tab here is a little yellow one. And kind of right here where my finger's at. I'll show you here in a second. But this is the back side of the top cable. So I'll bring the camera down here and we'll break these loose, and then that way we can open this door up. All right, so I'm trying not to kick this camera here. So here's our red, our yellow little, it's kind of a clip, I'll say. I don't know if you know the technical name for it, you can tell me. But I have a pick, and you can just kind of come from the back. You could use a screwdriver and just pop it loose from the back. And now what we can do is we can actually pull the cable out of its spot that it's in. Maybe. Okay. So now I have the end of the cable in my finger, this little gray piece. So now all we gotta do is pull up. So, hold on. We don't want to force it because we got 2 cables we have to do this to. So we're just trying to see if that's released it. I'm gonna pull this cable down and stick it out so that way we don't lose it. Now back here is, you'll see this little...
This is where it's broke.
Yeah, that's a little piece. And when we get it out there, I'll really show them, because it's separated there. All these little rubber pieces will do that. So you have this little clear, looks like a... I would say clear, but it's not clear. End here, we have to push that in, and it'll push out. Like that. Like so. And it went dangling in the breeze right here. So let's pull on it. I wish I could show it to you. Now pull on the bottom. There we go. So now I'll get out there and we'll show you how to pull those cables out. Alrighty. So what we're going to do is one of these at a time. So up at the top, you're going to have 2 T27 Torx bits, and I'm going to be using a DeWalt impact wrench just because it's easier. You can use like a regular handheld screwdriver Torx wrench, or screwdriver, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what that's called. What is it? I guess a Torx screwdriver. Heck, I don't know. And what we're going to do is we're going to be removing this from the top. And there's actually a third one right here I need to remove. Right there in front of me. I'm gonna let it sit like that for a minute. Really, before we unloosen that, what we should have done is taken the very bottom of it. What we're gonna do is put a string on it. Where did it go? Which way? There it is. We gotta pop this off. A little yellow kind of plug thingy. Got a slip knot. Taylor, you know what a slip knot is?
Yeah, I know what a slip knot is. Good band.
Oh, it's a band. I thought it was a knot, you know. So we have our string tied to the bottom of it, around the bottom of the end of this cable. We're just gonna pull it out, just like this. And what that'll do is when we're fishing the new piece back in there, it'll just or pulling the other part through, however we want to do it. It'll just make it a lot easier to hold that in. Be a hand, be a sport.
Trying to be.
He's on the phone texting his fiance.
Well, I actually left the stove on.
That boy can't cook. Why's he trying to use the stove for?
What do you mean? Hey man, I made some chicken steaks the other night.
Chicken steaks.
Yeah.
All right, hold this other. You can let me give a good review on this real quick. All right, so you can see how that has broke. Now we can save this cable and we can rebuild it with the metal ones and hold it for later, or you could rebuild yours and put it back in the truck. Doesn't really matter. This one's the same way. Actually, that whole piece is gone. Like that right there. So where's the camera at? Right there. So yeah, only thing left is that little piece right there. So you could save this and rebuild it and then throw it back in your truck with them aluminum ones. But we're just gonna opt to place it with a new one. Now, since we're not gonna be using this centerpiece, we're gonna be using just the cabling because of the, we don't want to have to undrill that, drill that out and then find bolts to put in it. Now you're gonna see right here, there's this little white kind of nub. We're gonna have to remove that, and so it pulls this whole piece out. Now, like I said on my 99, I just ordered cables, but when I went to order this part the other day, I couldn't find just the cables, so that's why I ordered the whole thing. And I'm removing this piece, trying to pop it out. All right, so now we got it removed, just like that. And here's the other end. So all we got to do is, what's that band again?
Slipknot.
Slipknot. They wear a lot of masks when they play music, don't they?
Yeah, they do that.
They must be ugly. They ain't good looking like we are. And they would have to wear masks. So we're just gonna, got our line to it. We just put it on the bottom. And all it's gonna do is just pull it right back through the door the same way it come out.
I don't blame you for my the metal scene I'm in now.
Yeah.
Heavy metal, deathcore, metalcore.
That like the Marine Corps?
No.
Oh.
No. I do like eating crayons though.
Oh, okay, here.
Green's my favorite.
Well, we're just kind of getting our little screws started there. We're gonna tighten them up. Or we thought we were. Gotta get them a little. There we go. There we go. Easy. I'm about to wear that bit right there. Look at it, it's twisted.
Too many Uggas.
Yeah, not enough Duggas. All right, so take our slip knot off the bottom. What I'll do now is I kind of reposition the camera down low so I can show you how to get the bottom ones out, and then we'll put it back together. All right, so now we're gonna be working on the bottom, and we basically have 3 of the T27 Torx bits, screws, whatever down here. We're gonna break them loose. Also pay attention to this right here. This is a little yellow nub. Let me see this cable. Right here, when we remove this cable from the door, we want to kind of remember where this little yellow nub is poking through the door, because as you can see on the new one, new cable, we have one, and what that does is it kind of keeps this cable from flopping around in your door, so when you're driving down the road you don't hear that. So we'll pull this cable out. First we need to, I guess, push this in. Got my pick. There she goes. Undo these 3 screws. I think. There it goes. I guess I got my big head in the way, don't I? See, Keeps, and people, it's always advertising for hair. You can't touch that hair. I got plenty of it. All right, so I got my screws broke loose, or Torx bolts. Yep, there went one. That's right here, I got her. All right, so this piece should just slide right out, just like that.
Oh, pull it from the floor up.
Yeah, so now you can see how that's tore there on that end. And look, that's that's tore too. So every one of these cables was broke on each end. And like I said, we can actually save the cables and just use the aluminum pieces to rebuild them. So that's what we'll do. All right, so here we got our new part. We're just gonna slide it in here like this. Actually, we're gonna slide the cable up through here. Just poke it out. And this does say left when you order these cables. And the left is gonna be your driver's side. I'm gonna put it in place, and then we'll just start, you know, just kind of start tightening up your little bolts. They already have blue Loctite on them. I guess you could add a little more if you want to do that. It's your prerogative. Well, if I can get it lined up just right. There we go. Got her going. Yeah, there we go. And really, if you've doing this, the first door will probably take you a little longer than the second one if you've never done this before. But really, you could do a door from start to finish in probably 15 to 30 minutes. The whole thing. It's not that difficult to fix. That's if you just had new parts, cables, and your ends here. You're not trying to rebuild the old cables. We're not going to forget about our little yellow tab. I'll poke that through there. And what I'll do is I'll set the camera up here so that way you can see me attach this into the latching mechanism, or whatever you want to call this.
That's okay.
All right, so here's our little cable and the end. And what we got to do is pull it around back. And if you see right here, this little place that's cut out or notched out, it's got to go inside of that little metal, we'll say horseshoe. So we're going to take it. And push it in there. I'm going to let Taylor push that in there. He's kind of strong. Come on, you can do it. He's going to do some finger workouts.
I do that every night. What you talking about?
All right. So now, all right. So what we want to do now is take this piece here and put it inside of there. You want to put that about halfway in there, or middle ways, so that way it's kind of splitting that whole thing in there. Come up a little higher, a little bit more, about right there. Now just fold that back over, press hard, there you go. So now it's in there. So now the door, all your latches and everything should be working correctly. We'll test the door out before we put our panels back on it and make sure it's working right. All right, so we need to, we hooked up this piece right here, and I kind of forgot about the upper part of the door latch. So we need to hook this cable into this mechanism, or whatever you want to call it, door latch. Now, this is the way that this is sitting inside the door. And I'm just going to show you. You see at the very top, you have this kind of horseshoe bend. What we need to do is take the very end of this rubber, black rubber, where it's kind of recessed. And what we're going to do is push it into that, and then the lower part of this cable here, this little, I'll call it this white piece here, will actually push through from the back side here through it, and then that'll lock it all in. But the cable, when it comes down the door, is kind of up here. It's kind of a pain in the neck, but it's not that hard to do. It's just right there. So we'll get this tucked back in there and locked in, and then we'll be right back. All right, so we did a test on it, and it's working. So what we're going to do real quick is, Taylor, we need that,
I know
what do you call that stuff? Vapor barrier. That's what it is. So we're going to stick that back on here, install our speaker, and then we will install our lower panel, only in reverse than what we did when we took it off, and then we'll put our upper piece in, and then we'll do the other side, and then we'll come back and close out this video. All right, so that's going to be the end of this video. Now, as you've seen, we replaced the upper cables and the lower cables on the door. Now both doors work as they should. And this was your first time doing this.
Yeah.
And it probably, what do you think it took you? About 30 minutes to do this whole door?
Oh yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
So, I mean, on a skill level, if you got a T27 Torx, a 7mm, quarter-inch drive, and a little time in your driveway, you could probably do this whole job in about an hour, both doors. I did have one viewer ask me one time about their cables broke, and they couldn't even open the door even once they got inside of the panel. So I think if your door's closed and you were trying to get into it, maybe once you remove this upper panel, there's the 3 screws at the top of this, you could probably unscrew those from inside of the truck to, I guess, break this upper latch loose, and then the bottom one you can actually reach down through the speaker hole and probably pull the little lever that's on that mechanism down there. So if you think this video was helpful, give it a big thumbs up. I'd like to thank my son for helping me work on his truck.
Thank you for supplying the parts for us. That door hasn't been open in a while.
Yeah, so if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'll ask you to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be getting back on, I think, here next weekend. I'm going to be doing a big timing chain service on my Expedition, and there's a million other little things that I need to do to all of my cars, and maybe we'll get some new ones in the future. Still waiting on our Bronco to come in. Haven't heard a word as far as Ford picking up our van, but as soon as we get it, I'll make a video on that. And other than that, like, subscribe, and comment down below. And I guess we're just going to slam the door on this project. Y'all have a blessed day, and we'll see you in the next video.